Hi, you're welcome to the VoiceOver Mentor channel. Today we're going to go through a few FAQs for beginners about voiceovers. Let's get started. So the first question is, how do I get started as a voiceover artist? Well, there are a few things you can do. You can research voiceover techniques, practice, and then build a voiceover demo. You might then ask, what is a voiceover demo? A voiceover demo is a recording that showcases your ability and your range as a voiceover artist. So you might have a track, for example, that shows you delivering different audiobook deliveries of voiceovers or adverts for voiceovers and doing it in different styles, accents, and different applications. So it could also include things like maybe for a car company versus a healthcare company, and then using that as a way to showcase your ability. Okay, let's move on to the next question. What equipment do I need for a home voiceover studio? Well, for a home voiceover studio, you need a few things: a microphone, a pair of headphones, ideally, an audio interface, if you're using an XLR microphone, which I actually recommend over USB microphones, and then recording software. But beyond this, you also have to consider your environment. So making sure you have a treated space to record in. Now, a treated space could mean having padding such that sounds don't bounce off the walls as easily, and so you don't have echoes in your recording. That's very important. In fact, I could even argue that that is probably one of the most important things you need to sort out: your recording environment and how it sounds, as opposed to focusing solely on your equipment. Okay, next question. What kinds of voiceover work can I pursue? Now, voiceover work is very vast, right? You have anywhere you can think of that requires a voice is potentially a place where a voiceover is needed. Imagine at the checkouts at supermarkets where it says, please scan your items, or notes are dispensed below the scanner. That's a voiceover application. Beyond that, you have different kinds of voiceovers like commercial work, like narrations, like e-learning, video games, cartoons. You even have announcer or voice of God type voiceovers for events. There are all sorts and different places you can apply yourself as a voiceover artist. You can do some research and figure out what works well for you. But I would say when you're starting out, try everything. Okay, just try everything and then see what sticks and see what works for you. Once you can figure that out, you can then double down on the areas that work well for you. But even for me, I don't focus on just one application of my voice to voiceover. I try different things. All right, let's move on to the next question. Ooh, here's a juicy one. How much should I charge for my voiceover services? Well, it's a very tricky one. What I'd say is you'd have to just do some research and find out what the rates are in your area and for the type of work and project that you're doing. And also, what's the scope of the project? You also want to factor in things like usage. Where is that voice going to be used? You can charge more or differently for different kinds of usage. For example, a voiceover for a corporate client that's only going to be used in-house and not used on broadcast or paid media would be charged less than one that would be used on a national campaign, for example. So it's just a good idea to do some research and find out what are the rates. There are a few companies that actually publish some rates. So for example, if you check out Gravy for the Brain, they also have a rates list that you can refer to. A few other agencies have their own rate lists as well, and then you can use that to benchmark and see what to charge and whether it's worth your time or whether you might choose a different kind of voiceover that works better for you. But yeah, this is a very, very good question to ask. Okay, another question. How do I handle voiceover auditions? How do I handle voiceover auditions? Well, that's an interesting one because it really is important to make sure that you're following the instructions that the clients ask. So it might be things like slating or not slating your recording. It might be things like looking at the technical requirements of the recording. Do they want a file as a WAV file or an MP3 file? In terms of the project rate, is it 48 kilohertz or 44.1 kilohertz? These are things you need to pay attention to, and if you're not sure, you can ask the client. Then even beyond the technical specs, you also want to think about your delivery. What delivery are they looking for? Are they looking for somebody who sounds young and excited, or are they looking for a more serious voice? Also, what accent or language is the client looking for? These are things to consider when you're delivering on your voiceover. You just have to make sure that you figure out what exactly the client needs, clarify with them to make sure that you're on the same page, and then go for it. Ooh, here's a good one. Should I invest in vocal warm-up exercises? You definitely should invest in vocal warm-up exercises. You can look online for singing vocal warm-up exercises and follow those. I would recommend Cheryl Porter. She has a few that are quite fun to do, and they also help loosen your jaw and your lips and make sure that you're able to deliver the voiceovers in a way that is engaging and is true to what the client is looking for. But definitely worth doing. It just makes your voice warmer and it makes you more ready to actually deliver the work that the client is asking of you. So definitely warm up your voice before you go in for a recording session. Another question. Can I do voiceovers in different languages? Yes, you can. I do voiceovers in English and French, and in different accents as well. As long as you're able to do them very well, I would say go ahead. It's an additional revenue stream. Why not? Why wouldn't you? Okay, here's another FAQ question. Is it necessary to have a unique voice to succeed? No, not necessarily. In fact, what I think is actually quite important is your versatility. So being able to deliver based on the client brief, making sure that you're able to meet it as closely as you can when they ask for different accents, when they ask for different methods of delivery, different moods, different styles of delivery, languages. The important thing is checking that you can actually deliver on the work that they're requiring. But no, you don't have to have a unique voice in order to be good at voiceovers. It may be something that sets you apart, but it definitely isn't something absolutely necessary in order for you to succeed in the industry. Do I need a professional studio or can I work from home as a voiceover artist? You definitely can work from home as a voiceover artist. For me, most of my work, I would say maybe even 98% has been done from home. And I've done recordings for clients worth thousands at home. The important thing is to make sure you set up your home studio in a way that sounds just as good as if you were in a professional studio. Here's another one. Should I specialize in a specific voiceover niche? I would say you can do, and it can set you apart, but it's not absolutely necessary. And particularly when you are just starting out, I would say focus on trying out different kinds of voiceovers to see what you're good at, to see what gives you the kind of revenue that you're looking for. And then you can choose to specialize later. I think it could actually be quite damaging to specialize too early on, unless you've sort of hit a home run from the get go and you're able to do very well in the one you've chosen to specialize in. But yeah, as a beginner, I'd say try different things, and then you can choose to specialize in particular voiceover genres or niches that better suit you. But if you're first starting out, I'd recommend you start out broad. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this session. This is just a few questions that I thought would be very helpful to answer for those who are considering going into voiceovers as a career and have a few questions about what it takes to get in there. If you have other questions that you have, let me know, put them in the comments, and the next time I come to do this, I'll be able to answer all your questions. All right, I'll catch you in the next one. But until then, go get a microphone and start recording. All right, take care. Bye.